2013 Modified Stadium Truck National Champion, Tebo. It's actually the fourth time he's won the last 8 years, so you've had a pretty good handle on this class for a while now.
Yeah, it's trucks always seem to suit me good, you know, gas truck. I won 5 national championships, and now with the mod truck I'm up to 4, so yeah, looking to add some more next few years.
And this was the first one for the still prototype RT6, so
yeah.
You know, you didn't have a whole lot of teammates here running that either. Was it tough, you know, trying to get that working on these track conditions without really anybody to bounce setup help?
No, I mean, you know, it pretty much, you know, started pretty much with just like what my R25 is pretty much like, you know. Some of the stuff's a little different, you know, just like how the RB6 is. But, you know, I did some testing at home, and at Hot Rod I was running a little bit mid-motor and then went to rear motor for the mains just because I couldn't race it mid-motor here because I didn't have a body that covered the shock tower. So yeah, I did some testing on a sugar track at home and felt really good with my truck. I changed my setup a little bit yesterday, kind of, you know, went the wrong direction, so then went back to what I ran in practice for today, and my truck felt awesome.
You, of the 4 winners that we saw today, 2 of them did not start up front. You started in the 2nd position in modified truck, and yet you were still able to get it wrapped up after 2 races. So it was actually kind of a benefit maybe to, you know, not have to set the pace right through the first corner and be more in attack mode instead of defense mode.
I think so. You know, these types of tracks, it's kind of tough. It's good to be in the lead because you can kind of pace yourself, and as long as you don't really mess up, they can't really pass you. But the other side of that is when you're in front, it seems like your car is twice as hard to drive. You know, it's edgier, and the guy behind you always seems like they're going in a little bit deeper than you are, and you know, so it makes it tricky, you know, to lead. But it was awesome just to start behind Dakota, you know, try to stay close with him those first couple laps until he'd, you know, make a mistake, and then just try to just stay in the lead after that.
And he was, you know, pretty dominant throughout qualifying at 3 of the 4 rounds. And it looked like his truck just had a little bit of extra speed. Do you think it was, you know, nerves on his part, or the pressure you were able to put on him, or was it just that your truck had improved going into today's main events?
You know, my truck was really good in qualifying. You know, first round I should have had the TQ. I had it up to the very end and just completely blew it all on my own. I crashed with like a minute and a half to go and gave him that one. Second one, I crashed a bunch at the beginning. You know, the 3rd round, I ended up getting the TQ and ran the same time that he ran the first day. So, you know, my speed was good. I kind of went backwards on my setup the second day qualifying, and that kind of just messed me up. But today I felt like, you know, heads up speed, I think we both had pretty good speed. You know, maybe he had a little bit of nerves. I just think we were both pushing it pretty hard, and just the track's edgy.
And it looked like, you say that the track was edgy, but the stadium truck class, you know, with the biggest tires of any of the classes that ran this week, and it looked like of all the classes, that was really the one where the drivers could kind of, you know, drive a little harder and get a little bit more dicey just because the trucks are more stable.
Yeah, they're pretty squirmy, just like they want to wheelie a lot and then oversteer a lot, but they didn't quite do like just the straight flipping over as much as the buggies do. So you know, they're all pretty tough to drive. So, you know, my truck felt the best, so maybe, you know, that one felt the easiest to drive. But yeah, it was all pretty tough. From the end of the straightaway, it was just a fine line between going too fast and then losing time there. You know, same with the 180s. You had to go in so hot under the brakes, but your braking points had to be just spot on, because if you just broke just a split second late, when you had to turn in, you're going too fast, it would just want to just catch you and just flip you over really easily.
And we saw a lot of the drivers, you know, obviously everyone ran 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive buggy, but everyone that ran a 3rd class was pretty evenly split between stadium truck and short course truck. You ran a lot of short course truck for a few years, and now we've seen you back in the stadium truck class. Is that with Kyosho working on the RT6, or do you think that class is coming back? And how do you feel about that split?
For me, I like truck. I don't really care to race short course. I wish everyone, it's just tough. Like here, you can only run 3 classes, which, I think 4 is pretty tough. Me personally, I would love for short course to just be like a sportsman only class and just the pros raced 2 or 4-wheel mod truck, and then, you just have the sportsman guys can run the short course, but, I love mod truck, so if it's only 3 classes, I'll be racing 2-wheel, 4-wheel, and truck. If I can race 4, maybe sometimes I'll race short course, and then, like Reedy truck race, something like that, race short course. So.
You said that you ran, the RT6 in mid-motor earlier this year. You didn't have the body to run it here this week. Do you think that's something that could have been a benefit, or is that just kind of a tuning option that you can get your truck close either way?
Yeah, Cactus, I really like the mid-motor feel like my 2-wheel, and I thought, I'm just going to be doing that all the time, and I'm not really sure. It's really tough. Now it's like Dakota ran good with the rear motor. Everyone else was on mid-motor. I tried the mid-motor with the truck, went back to the rear motor. I think the rear motor at Hot Rod was just way easier to drive. The mid-motor I was having it was a lot tougher to drive. Maybe some setup things, I could change to make it better. But as for now, I loved it. I loved it rear motor. You're not going to get an edgier, more grippy situation than what we had now, so I love the way it felt.
Yeah, obviously we have the World Championships coming up in a little over a month from now. You'll only be focused on 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive buggy that week. What did you learn this weekend that you hope to carry over into that race?
Run 5 minutes without crashing. I struggle with that all weekend, and I need to focus on getting my cars easier to drive. In practice, we're all about lap times. I can run fast lap times if I'm comfortable. If my car is uncomfortable, I can't run the fast lap times. So I need to put the stopwatch away for a little bit and go to feeling. Try to get my cars comfortable where I can push them. For race time, you can always get the lap times you need to get. It's just finding that comfort. So, I think for the Worlds, especially, before then, I'm going to do a whole bunch of running and just try to get my cars easier to drive, where I can just go out there, hammer laps, push the pace. If I need to go faster, I can step it up a little bit. This weekend, my 2-wheel and 4-wheel actually felt really good. I just was all over the place with setup and qualifying, and just started in the back and got into some good situations in the mains, but didn't really do what I needed to do with them. So I got a lot of work to do for the Worlds, but we're gonna put our head down and do as much testing as possible. And key thing for me is being comfortable.
Do you think that comfortability is even more important when the track's this grippy and the jumps are so big and you're really so committed for every obstacle on the track?
Yeah, I think when the grip's up, you need to be really comfortable with your cars, because just the little movements, just for me, like 2-wheel this week, when I just struggle, just the wheel feels so sensitive. Like I can't touch the wheel. So being comfortable and just being able to run solid laps. I mean, every main today, 2-wheel, 4-wheel, people crashed. Yeah. There was not one person that ran a 2-wheel or 4-wheel main that didn't crash. I could have won from 8th and 2-wheel if I didn't crash. I could have won from 6th and 4-wheel if I didn't crash. So it tells me, most people aren't that comfortable with their car. It's really tough out there. So, I think just getting them easier to drive.
Well, you sure had your truck easy to drive this weekend. Congratulations on
thank you.
Yet another modified truck national championship. Is there anybody you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, just everyone at Kyosho back in Japan. Thank you so much for the opportunity. About 5 years ago, and everyone at Orion, aka KO, and most importantly my family, my wife Megan, daughter Rosalind, and Isabella up in heaven looking down, and the good Lord Jesus Christ for allowing me to race cars for a living and support my family.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yep, thank you guys.